Hello, everyone, and welcome to the October 10th Contributor Summit meeting. So, a reminder, these videos are recorded and will be posted on YouTube later, and we abide by the Cncf Code of Conduct. And at this point, we are officially in crunch time. Is 2 weeks from today until the Contributor Summit. So with that, let's roll right into things. Cncf updates.
All right, so we've got a few things. Let me pull up find my tab here. Too many open. Okay, so I did, biggest thing I need is any timing for the breaks, meals, breakfast, and lunch. I do need to have those by end of day this Wednesday, just because we need to let our union labor know. So if I could get the timing for breakfast, AM break, lunch, and PM break by Wednesday, that'd be perfect, just so I can let our union team know.
Okay.
And again, it just, I can update it as needed later on. I just need an idea of what we think it will be so that I can at least give them a heads up. Another question I had is bingo. Are we planning to do bingo this year?
Was that the people going around and asking people stuff?
Exactly. Yeah. For the bingo, I just need to know so that I can update the bingo cards and make sure I have those printed if we're planning to do those.
Honestly, I completely forgot about those. Does anyone remember who handled that in EU?
I think Josh, and I can go back my Slacks. Hang on.
I guess maybe we can shoot Josh a DM.
Well, I have a quick question. I wasn't doing Contrib Summit for EU because I was a newly CNCF person. How many people did we actually get doing it? Because it was for like a prize and they had to turn it into you, right, Deb? I vaguely remember talking about
they turned it into us at registration.
We've done it two different ways though. So last year it was something that we did at the reception, and I think more people participated in it there because it was like an activity, versus in Europe this past year we did it during the day, and someone finished it within like 3 minutes. It was very fast and not very many people participated in it. And Josh and Roger are the ones that did the EU bingo card.
And I'm okay with doing it at the social again if we want to do that. It'd just be I don't know, poke Josh again, or Xander if it's at the summit. I don't know if that's something you, or not the summit, the social, my bad. If that's something you potentially want to handle.
I'm not opposed to it. We've got trivia happening at the social as well, and we've got prizes and everything set up for that. Yeah, if we're reusing the same questions and everything, that's fine, but I don't have like specific prizes or anything set aside for that, or
maybe if we do want to do something like, I don't know if we could get a code or like, get a shirt or something from the CNCF store. Might be able to, talk to Drew or something and just be like, hey, swing on by and get like a hoodie or something like that.
Through the CNCF, all things are possible. Honestly, my view on it right now is this did fall off. If we're just going to copy pasta the EU bingo card, then sweet, that's low effort and it's an additional thing. But if we're doing anything other than copy pasting the thing and then me magicking like a hoodie or a shirt, let's just not.
That is sort of along the lines I was thinking. It's 2 weeks out. So
Deb, maybe, or Deb and Brian, I gotta get used to that. If we can just print the same bingo cards and then use them at the social, then yeah, we'll do that. And then whoever the first like 3 people that turn it in will get a shirt. Right?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Brian and I will look at the card from the EU just to make sure the questions like still work, but yes, that should be fine.
If there are a couple that are gaps, like message me and I'll, come up with a couple. I just don't want to come up with a whole bingo card.
Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sounds good. I did speak with the contact at Deluxe Flux, and they do not have a screen, so we will not be able to show a presentation on a larger screen, unfortunately. So keep that in mind. We are able to connect our own device for music or audio via aux port, so we can do that for the playlist, which should make it a little bit easier. And keep in mind the event is from 6 to 9 p.m., so 3 hours roughly. And we are able to provide our own pre-approved list of songs for karaoke for attendees to select from. So if somebody would like to come up with a kind of a fun list of different karaoke songs, then we can provide that to them and they will have that ready for us. And also, does anyone plan to ship any items or packages to the venue or need the shipping information?
I am not shipping anything to the venue. I'm shipping stuff to another local contact.
Okay.
You can just say George. You're shipping it to George.
I'm shipping stuff to George.
Okay. Well, if anybody does need the shipping information, let me know and I will get that over to you. And then I will put together forms that we can track all of the information from.
Yeah. Also, Jeff, unfortunately, Nick, who would be the go-to for Cruel Angel's thesis.
I know. That's an honor of Nick not making it.
That is everything I had for today, unless Deb thinks of something else or anybody has any questions.
So a question on the karaoke note, and we can still just plug in our own device and play stuff if people want, like if they have ad hoc requests.
Yeah, we can. We have access to be able to plug in our own devices.
Okay. I think honestly, that's going to be a lot easier than here, try and get a list of songs from various contributors ahead of time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And there will be somebody there, like a tech, that will also be helping out with karaoke. So we're not left to our own abilities.
Okay. Excuse me. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Brian and Deb at this time? Others might come up as we continue to discuss stuff. Okay, and then that takes us to content, which I actually think will be the big thing for this meeting.
All right, so updates, we sent out the CFP responses to everybody that submitted a CFP for us. All in all, we accepted everything except for one. And the only reason why we didn't accept that one was because it was geared for new contributors. And considering that you have to be an org member or otherwise have an exception to come, it seemed like it was targeting the wrong audience. Otherwise, I'm working with the Shadows to finalize the schedule today, and we will be, copying all of that content over and putting it in Sketch so that we can publish it by the end of today. And then basically to summarize what we have one general session track consisting of 25-minute talks, one unconference track, both meeting rooms we have booked up for SIG working group project face-to-faces and a few other collaborative sessions that don't meet like a larger workshop type format. The one like workshop type session that we had is for like a Sig Windows, how do you set up your developer environment type thing. And that seemed overkill for the larger workshop room that we have. And it seemed to fit in better with that meeting room space. We also had one docs related session that would be a good target for the same folks that are participating in the doc sprint. So it would be nice if we could pad out the doc sprint schedule and find a good place to fit that in, because it wasn't as the audience for it was more in line with the folks that'd be contributing to the doc sprint versus attending the general session for the Contrib Summit. And then other than that, we did some talking with Tim Hawken based on the discussion he started in the Contributor Summit IRC channel with the idea of taking something kind of sort of like the Sig Meet and Greet, but basically taking various Kubernetes SMEs, having them available for kind of folks to just come up and ask them questions or get them to, get on a soapbox about technical topics or things like that. So the idea that we had after meeting with him is that we could do basically a session during the lunchtime. So grab your lunch, go over. We can use that workshop room that we have. It's plenty large enough, has the large round tables, and folks can come up and pick Tim's brain or various other Kubernetes SMEs that we can identify and lock into committing to it. And basically have like either a little whiteboard or a notepad at each of the stations so that they can write down what the current topic is, and folks can kind of look around, see who's available for talking to, what the current topics are, and decide where they'd like to like plop down and start joining the conversation. We're still workshopping names. We have the idea right now of trying to go with like a jam session, like a music jam session, but I worry that might be a little bit too much. It might be a little bit too much out there for people who may not know what like a jam session is with music. So if anybody's got a good idea for what we can call this, we're trying to avoid AMA. Tim was afraid that would be like too formal, like, it's not necessarily conversation focused. It's more, let's throw questions at you and more of like a panel type thing.
I could just call it a brown bag.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. So I'll be reaching out to probably some of the folks in this chat to see if they're willing to participate as well. And I'll be scrolling through the registration list to see who else we can identify that would be good kind of SMEs in various areas that we can use to fill out that area. But other than that, I was very happy with how well the content seemed to come together. I mean, we got a lot of various submissions in that kind of rounded things out quite well. So everything from how do you contribute to more in-depth topics. I think we were lucky this time. Not much need to actually go out and try to like actively solicit people to provide a compelling topic for the summit.
Actually, question for Rhiannon and Deb. Can we get like either whiteboards or like notepads for the workshop room?
I know we can
Like-
do notepads. I can check to see if they have whiteboards available, but that is definitely something I can ask them for.
And by notepad, I mean like the the big ones that like people can
Yep.
draw. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like the giant drawing pads. Yep.
Yep. If
And
if
how
that's if
how
that's the
many of them?
case, we should be good.
And how many do you think we need?
I haven't started reaching out to folks yet,
Okay.
but I would not expect more than like, I'd say 6 would be on the high end
Okay.
to get folks to commit to.
Sure. Yeah, I will ask them about that. And if they have whiteboards, is there a preference over whiteboards versus the notepads?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The whiteboards would be nice just because it could look a little cleaner, but at the same
Yeah.
time, if the notepads are available, then that is great.
Perfect.
Just a way for people to identify the topic at hand.
All right. Yeah, I'll ask and see what I can do.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Those will also probably be useful for Unconference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Unconference, I know there's gonna be the one Unconference track, but like, how do we want to do that? Is it like during the like opening ceremonies and AMA, like steering AMA type thing? It's just like, okay, start coming up with ideas and then have time for people to jot stuff down and then like do it in the afternoon, or like what are we thinking?
Yeah, let me follow up with Marky on that.
Okay.
He's taking the lead on that, and I'll get back to you within the next couple of days on a better answer around that.
Okay. Mostly like I'm want to make sure that we can say it like during the opening ceremonies, be like, hey, remember we're doing an Unconference. If you have an idea, go toss it over here. Something
Yeah.
else we can potentially do if we want would be to create like an issue ahead of time, if like people, just for people to like post ideas, and then we can sort of potentially seed early sessions if that's a thing. But yeah, like definitely I'd say sync with Marky, and then we can figure out the details for later.
Yeah.
Based on what's in the spreadsheet right now, which I realize isn't quite final, we might want to just take that first Unconference session and turn it into a voting session. And then,
Yeah, the one till 10:30 to 10:55.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say turn that into like a voting / like, well, never mind, it's only that room, so scheduling isn't a big deal. Yeah.
Related to that, I noticed that right now we've got the Unconference and the sessions room and the workshop room are 2 of the 3 rooms that are set for being recorded. Do we want to record the Unconferences, or do we want to juggle things around?
Yeah, I was planning on following up with Deb after this. If it's not too late, canceling the recording for the Unconference room and the workshop room.
Yeah, we can cancel that, no problem. I think it would be a little more difficult to add it on at this point, but yeah, fine.
So we're only going to record the main room? Is that what we're going at? Okay. That makes life easier for operations. Let's see.
Actually, one thing on the workshop room is Tim's thing literally the only thing in there
right now? Yes.
Okay. One other thing that it might be too noisy, but I believe we're doing just a whole whackload of rounds in the main like hangout and lunch place.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be another place where it's just like, if we want to do that, like basically Tim's thing might be able to be done essentially just in the lunch space.
Yeah, if that makes sense to do, then we can do that as well.
It's mostly like if there's nothing else that's going to be in the workshop room, that's kind of Deb and Brandon, you've seen the space. What do you think?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So if we wanted to do like those sort of round table discussion type, like not AMA, but like just discussions, would that make sense for the workshop room, or do you think we should have it in the main like hangout and meal space, or do you think that would be too noisy?
I think you could do either one, honestly. I mean, it just depends on how many people would kind of be in the hangout space at any given time. But it is your designated space. And for the most part, I think it should be pretty quiet. I don't think people are really going to be coming and going too much. So if you wanted to do it in there, I think it would be fine as well.
Yeah, I think
Maybe-
if there's like a corner or like a side or something, I don't know what the layout of the rooms are.
It's a very large room, so there is plenty of room to spread out.
Yeah.
Maybe a better question is, do we think it won't just happen organically in the meeting room anyway, in the hangout room?
Well, so I think the idea is because sometimes, you know, especially some of the newer folks that are attending like the Contrib Summit and stuff, they may not necessarily feel as comfortable to just plop down at a table with like, say, Tim Hawken and like strike up a conversation with like, what do you think the future of networking and Kubernetes is? So it's a way to make them a little bit more approachable for those conversations.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, my main reasoning is just like thinking if we are getting rid of rooms and like if that is literally the only thing in the workshop room,
Yep,
then we can probably cut that for just having it be a smaller space. Like people will definitely know where the stuff is.
yep.
Could we get some sort of, I'm wondering if it would be like a standing notebook or like a vertical sheet of paper or something like that that just says, like, if we're gonna have the large notebooks anyway, just having something that says networking and just put it on a table. And if somebody goes and sits there, then obviously they want to talk about networking. You know, I'm just spitballing on that.
Yeah, I think we can kind of play around with this and see what works and what doesn't work from this and evolve it as we go.
I like the idea of having more informal space though.
Yeah.
For just conversations to erupt.
Yep.
We call that there the hallway track.
That's in a room.
Yes.
No, the hallway's a different room. That's over. It's long. It's over the side.
We just label the lunchroom hallway just to confuse everyone.
Confused. I think that makes it easier. Everyone go to the hallway track. Well, which room is the hallway track in? Room labeled hallway. Simplifies everything.
Not to be confused with the hallway.
Hallway.
Yeah, not to be the room labeled hallway, not to be confused with, you know, the hallway.
Yeah. I had a couple other questions from an ops perspective. We're throwing one track at the doc sprint. Did we check with the folks running the doc sprint?
Jim?
Yep, we have not yet. I've taken the action to do that, and I'll check with Abby.
Okay. And also something I noticed that was brought up earlier on this call, we don't really have a block for AM and PM breaks. Are we going to alter the timing slightly? Do we want to make it informal and just say, during these talks, there will also be stuff outside? How do we want to handle that?
We do definitely want to get some breaks in there. So ideally, let's see.
I mean, if we put in 2 15-minute breaks, we basically would have to cut one slot somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, looking at the. So that's still 30 minutes. we do have some gaps in the at least general session. Oh, that does clash with the like 2 other meeting rooms. I would be okay with like essentially like lengthening things a little bit if we have to, because like it's not going to be super late.
Well, what are we thinking for the breaks? Because right now there's 5 minutes in between every talk. If we put 2 15-minute breaks in there, that would bring us to that would, instead of ending at 5, we'd end at 5:20 plus a group photo, which always takes longer than we think it's going to take.
Yeah. Then I think what we could probably do then is, because the breaks that you're talking about is just to bring out more food and drink, right?
Yes.
But also to give
that, we're going to have like some snacks and drinks for each one.
But it also gives people that brain break in between sessions.
Yeah. I don't want us to blow the thing that we're in right now, trying to think about how to fit 2 15-minute breaks in there. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it and try and sort it out.
I think if we put 2 15-minute breaks in, considering there's already 5-minute slots in between,
well, we also have things like the steering AMA, which is 60 minutes. We can bring that down to like 55 minutes realistically, and that would align more with the rest of the session times.
Also, we could even bring that down to like 45 if we want to try and.
No. You're not getting out of work.
I have two. There are 2 steering AMAs. It's like, hey, if you have more questions, come to the one on Friday.
Bye, Deb. Thank you.
Honestly, that's probably a good idea, because if we take that and bring the steering AMA down by 15, that's 15 of the 20 minutes that we would need to put into 15-minute breaks.
Yeah.
We just need to, then we just extend the whole schedule by like 5 minutes.
Which I think is reasonable to do.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yep.
The other thing is like opening ceremonies might, like realistically, it's probably not going to be 20 minutes. It's mostly just like 5 slides like, hey, welcome. Please remember this Unconference. Here is the layout of the map. Don't forget about, the thing later tonight. We're doing the group photo. So I would.
I think 10 minutes is like good to block off. And any more than we're going to be done in 5, right?
I would give it, more like 10 to 15, just because people need to get seated. It's the first thing.
We'll start 5 minutes late.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's also true.
So, I if the AMA starts early, that's more time for the AMA. Whatevs.
Okay.
All right. So realistically, just kind of restating everything that's been said, we cut steering AMA by 15 minutes, I think it was. So it'll go from on the schedule 9:20 to 10:05. I would then bump, have it go right into contributing to Kubernetes Made Easier, between these, I'm clicking like y'all can see. Essentially between the code spaces one and the COVID one, that's where I would have that first break.
In between those, because those are 25-minute sessions right there. So the things that have 55-minute sessions in the meeting room, that would be halfway
So
between them.
I would actually potentially do it right after the steering AMA. To give people more time for
The unconference
stuff.
Yep.
It'll be an hour and change after they've had breakfast, but that should be fine.
There'll be people that are slow rolling into this. Like a lot of people aren't going to be coming in at 8 a.m. to get food.
I am just a symmetrical thinking person, and I am trying to fit in the breaks as close to the middle between lunch and end and breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
That's just how my brain works.
But like I can share my screen if people want, but
the problem with putting it in the middle between those is that the other sessions in the other two rooms are 55 minutes and will span across that.
Yeah.
So it's not, but going between the unconference and the general sessions, which are 25 minutes each, is not viable compared to going between what's in the meeting rooms. So we can either do it 55 minutes, an hour after breakfast or 55 minutes before lunch.
Yep.
And
Hour before,
doing it
or hour after breakfast.
Yeah.
More coffee.
Yeah. And then in the afternoon, we've got 3 sessions, 3 real blocks. So the question is, do we want to do it doing it 55 minutes after lunch doesn't make sense, but doing it when we still have like an hour and change, an hour and a half of full content after the session that currently ends at 3:25 is probably the best place to put the other one.
I mean, so the more I think about this, like logistically, and everyone's bodies are different, and not to talk about bodies, but honestly, an hour after breakfast, an hour after lunch, probably a good idea because people have to go to the bathroom. So I could argue that, that slot is actually ideal.
So which time frame were you thinking of?
So we were talking about an hour after breakfast, aka an hour after steering, right?
Yeah, I'm at the afternoon one.
Right. So this one would be lunch goes until 1:15. This would be after 2:10, or somehow, shake things up a little bit. So
I would still I'd push the afternoon one later if possible.
What are you thinking?
Well, when does the schedule end? 5?
5.
Yep.
If
4:55.
Yeah, 5-ish.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think that's, the day is asymmetric anyway. I mean, maybe a more reasonable thing is just to do that one early and then assume that, sometime in the 3:30, 3:45 range, you're going to need a bio break anyway.
We're probably looking at, roughly 3:10, because that's when both the 25-minute and the 55-minute sessions for that block end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking is that's a nice chunk of time after lunch.
And it's just a 15-minute break for everybody to get up and stretch. And then that gives one more set of sessions and the awards and closing ceremonies, etc.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it's about, 2.5, 3 hours until dinner. So
Yeah, because we're not going to eat again until we get to the venue, and that'll be till after 6.
Yeah. That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
I like it as well.
Okay. Is there any other content-y-ish that we want to talk about? Okay. That will take us over to comms.
Okay. Yeah, Caslin's on a plane. And I was supposed to be on a plane, so that's why it was question before. But my plane landed an hour early, and since my last name starts with a K, we still get to do a jingle. So, so it still comes with Clarice subbing for comes with
Comms with
Caslin.
Clarice.
Yeah. So what's going on is we're currently drafting a bunch of stuff, the registration reminder and social venue email. Atarva is doing that. We need info on bus and cab stuff.
So,
yeah.
You probably won't need that. The venue, like the reason why this venue was well, one of the big reasons it's chosen.
Is it absolutely close?
Yeah, it's like not even a half mile away.
Okay. So let me add that.
Yeah. And then for the guest request thing, instead of a guest request form, we changed the instructions just to be to email community@kubernetes.io, which is basically our general help support line for everything.
Yep. And then there's the carpooling question. If we need it at all, obviously, but then if we should do a new one or just continue the EU one.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that just because
for the same reason.
Yeah, it's so close.
Okay.
If you want whatever comms that are to be formed, there's the link to the social site. With just like bringing a guest, it's email like.
Yeah, let me just open that. So follow up. Cool. And Avinash is working on the awards tweets. Then there's some active stuff that we know we need to do comms and that is being planned now. So registration, more stuff for the social, the awards as we just talked about, but that'll be for the awards themselves. And then just planning the ongoing tweets. So, anybody wants to help paint that fence, please join us. Even whether it's, if you want to help do it, or even if you want to make suggestions during the ongoing, because just having the presence during the ongoing is a coolness. And then there's things we think we need to do, but we don't know enough about doing, which will be stuff for the Sig Meet and Greet and for the doc sprint.
So for the Sig Meet and Greet, I can help with that one. That one is mostly just gonna be like, it's on Friday. Come swing by at this time and place if you have questions.
Okay.
And then potentially, like, if anyone is on site during it, like tweet out a picture, like retweet, something that some people post. So
yep, cool.
What was the other thing besides that? Doc sprint.
Yeah.
Ray, are you organizing that?
Abby, myself, and there'll be all the other Sig Docs co-chairs will be there as well. So there'll be a lot of folks on hand.
Cool.
We did talk about it in our last two Sig meetings. So we do have a good group of themes and goals and efforts. We just need to finalize them.
Cool. And then we should probably just, and this is me talking not in the notes, we should probably just have have the event staff Slack channel just for people to stick up photos that we can tweet or just stuff like that, so we can be very dynamic while we're going.
Yeah,
while stuff's going on. Yeah, right, the contributor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have the Contributor Summit channel. It's just like
Yeah.
ask people to drop stuff in there.
Yeah, and we'll just pick stuff up from there and tweet it out. And is there anything that's not on that list that we should add?
So is the comms regarding just the general reminder in social set to go out this week?
I believe so.
Okay.
I can look it up.
Yeah, because if possible, we should get something to go out this week, and we should mention the deadline of Reg being next week.
Yeah.
And then next week we need to send out the other was like, hey, you have till the end of the week or whatever to register. Oh, the other thing, like if it goes out a little bit later this week, we can probably get the scheduled and all that stuff live. So it's just like we have, here's the schedule, here's the social. Please register if you haven't done so already. Like I'm betting many people haven't done yet. Okay. Any other updates at this point for comms? Questions, comments, sorry. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Then can pop over to Reg.
Hey everyone. Short update. We have about 185 registrations, of which we have confirmed around 171. That's including staff. That's all on the updates. I just had one question. So we got a request for from one of the attendees to change their email ID on this event because they don't have access to their previous email ID before. Basically, the email ID that they registered with does not exist anymore, or they don't have access. So, what is the usual procedure to solve this?
That's handed over to the CNCF. Brianne, I think Deb actually forwarded you the email, and you are now on the community at mailing list as well.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, if I just have that email from the person, I can send that on to our registration team, and they will be able to look into the account and, you know, do whatever they need to do to reset it and make sure that they have access.
Cool.
Awesome. I will probably forward you the email.
Awesome.
Just CC you on that thread.
Yes, please do that.
And actually, if you have your reg code, you can still log in with your old email address and your reg code, and then add an email address, because I'm still logging in as my Sousa ID from 2 years ago. And then you add.
Yeah, I think they don't have access to even the confirmation email because they changed employers and old email ID is just inactive.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, in general, I highly recommend not signing up for anything with your corp email address.
With work email.
Yeah, to prevent this sort of thing.
Yeah, I kind of had to, but yeah.
I have avoided using corp email for registrations and all since a long time, despite being pushed to register using that. So
yeah,
it was really stupid. They made me do it, and I actually have a dedicated CNCF email address, and they said I could, back in Sousa, they said, no, don't use that. Germans, sigh, just a joke.
Oh, sorry, too late, already done.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions at this point for Reg? Okay. We'll pop over to awards. Ray?
Thanks.
Yep. Hey folks. So the awards deck is done. There's going to be some finishing touches along the way. In progress, Avinash is drafting tweets to be sent on October 24th for the awardees. Next steps is drafting the blog. That's going to be published on October 24th, and also just creating a page for the 2022 awards. That's fairly simple. Just those things are just merged on October 24th. That's it for awards.
Cool. Nice and easy. Any questions, comments for awards? Okay. kick over to Xander. Celebration.
Yeah, the only thing that I have going on that I'm focused on is getting trivia together. So I have questions from Lockie all ready to go. And then Josh and I are just kind of working on adding some like fun ones to that too, some more community focused questions. And we'll figure out what the best approach is going to be without the being able to show slides. I think maybe I'll just like Love Actually it and just have like the poster boards that I just.
That would be kind of amazing, actually.
And I have two mugs that I've made with the little Kubernetes logo on there, and then Burkus has 2 that he'll bring for prizes, and then Lockie is also sending me some O'Reilly books that I'll bring. So in total, if we tell people to keep teams to size 6 people or smaller, then everyone in the team will be able to get a prize, the winning team. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Thank you. I definitely approve of the mugs, but I have mine right here. Yeah, we might be able to snag one of the big like Post-it like notes or the big things that we're going to be using at the summit itself, and just be like, the only thing we might need would be a tripod, unless you want to do the big like hold the question up type thing.
So I'm actually going to order some easels for myself to have, and so I'll be bringing them with me to the reception, so I can make sure I take an extra one.
That would be awesome.
Easel would be perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure that I carry an extra one with me. And then, yeah, if you want to take one of the notepads over, have at it.
Worst case, one of us will walk back and forth like it's a boxing match.
That'd be great. Okay. Any questions for Celebration at this point? Okay. Noah, ops?
We were mostly waiting on the content to be finalized, and it looks like it's 98% of the way there. I've got a spreadsheet put together where the team is going to be doing a round robin picking of each slot so that we know where we're going to be at any given point in time.
So like snake draft it?
I was going to do it live, but we're going to have to do it async because we got people in too many different time zones. And the duties are being written out. It'll make life a lot easier if we're not recording 2 of the rooms, because then we only have 1 room that we have to worry about. We really have to worry about the AV.
Yeah.
All the rooms have projectors, right? So that's okay. If the projector works, it does. It doesn't. It doesn't really matter for things like the Unconference.
The one thing that I will actually just like take care of right now is I will create a shared folder for any Unconference notes.
Yes. That was one of the other duties that we need to take care of. So let me see. Are there any other duties that I have written down here that we need to worry about? Note takers. No, I think we're pretty solid on what we want to do. We do want to make sure that we have the links in the Slack channel while it's happening. So, but other than that, we'll just have to make sure that whoever's attending the Unconference, attending as the room monitor for the Unconferences, has all the links that they need and also has access to the Slack channel at the time, so that they can announce, hey, it's right here.
We can also create like a bit.ly link, a nice short link to the shared drive, and put that in like the opening notes and like know before you go type thing.
That'd be very useful. And if it's something easy, we can just write it on the Unconference board.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful, I think. Plus, if everybody gets access to the folder, then they could just go back and look at previous notes as well.
Yep. I am. Oh, stop freaking trying to autocorrect.
I did have one.
I'm making dev at kubernetes.io editor, so they just have to be part of KDev.
Okay. I did have one question for Jason, but he unfortunately left. It looks like one of the talks, as I'm looking at it now, it looks like one of the talks that we accepted for the sessions is also a talk that was accepted for the conference proper. Do we care?
Which session?
The last session, since we're recording this, I'm not going to name names, but
Okay.
it's the last session in the main, the last session in the main track.
If that's the one that I think is, I would trust the speakers. I need to go back to that
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
exactly. But I want to make sure that we're okay with that. Just a talk that people are going to see twice, maybe.
Just real quick, I'm gonna work with Jason later on today on the scheduling and kind of locking that down. I'll bring it up with him as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it being there. If it's there twice, no big deal. Just want to make sure other people are going, hey, wait.
Yeah. I have a feeling there will be more tailored content at this one.
Probably.
Okay. Any other questions, comments for ops? Also, I pasted the shared drive link in the notes and chat. I will get a nice, good short link later.
Okay.
Then I think we are good for today, and just right about exactly on time.
Woohoo!
I would have one question.
Shoot.
It's a sort of contributor. Hello. So it's a contributor noob question, or depending on how you look at it, it's a non-contributor noob question. So I'm not part of any of the 6. I try to register for a contributor summit because I mostly contribute to the underlying plumbing, runtimes, a couple of libraries that Kubernetes also uses. And there is a couple of folks that I work closely with who managed to get through a session. It's the CRI long-term evolution, and I would be really interested in joining that session. But
I already approved your registration.
Okay. Hey, okay. Okay, then sorry. No further questions, Your Honor. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, in general, like we, if like someone else in the project just sent like community@kubernetes.io an email, like saying like, hey, someone from this other project is relevant and should show up. That's sort of our preferred way of doing things, but like, honestly, I recognize your GitHub handle. So
okay.
You're all good.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Cool. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, if you do know other people in Containerd or like etcd or anything like that, that would be, worthwhile to come. Just like let us know and have them register.
Okay, I'll do that if something pops up. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Now, are there any other questions or anything like that? Cool. Thank you all. I will see you all around in Slack.
Bye.